Okay, building a concrete shower curb on a concrete slab here. So, first step, clean, make sure it's all pretty. And I just go, I got these at Home Depot, 50 cents a pop, and get some of these little bricks. They're 2 inches tall. I stack them too high, that gives it 4 inches. You know, if you're doing it on a wood floor, then it's usually 3 2x4s stacked on top of each other, so it's around the same height. Now you'll see we got some gaps here, so I need to take another one of these bricks and probably cut it down to size. I'll put it like that, mark right here, and then I'm going to cut it size, so I'll show you that. So if you don't have some blocks that match up, this was like this, I just kind of mark how tall I need it. I kind of just go in this just a little bit, just to make an indentation, and then I just hold down here and give it some hits with the hammer, and it'll break off for you. So this will match my height. Alright, so we got to cut to size, I hope. Oh yeah, so that's good enough right there. You'll also see that we have this gap. You can go find another smaller brick if you want, or you know, you're filling this in with some concrete anyway. So what I do is I just kind of move these out and give them a little bit of spacing between, and I will end up jamming some concrete in between these gaps here. You want to make sure it's all level and all straight, you know, one way, and then make sure it's level on top here, and then we'll get to doing this. So I coupled this in, the shower curb I started off coupled in with my pre-slope. Whenever you do a pre-slope, you're going to put down Thinset and then some concrete and slope it down towards your drain. How you attach these, you can just use that Thinset. So you go over Thinset to help that pre-slope concrete adhere to the slab, And also when I'm going through with Thinset, I'm going to put some Thinset on the floor here. Put one of them on top. I'll put Thinset on top of this one, stack them up. Okay? And then whenever I'm going through and doing my pre-slope, I'm going to take that concrete that I'm doing the pre-slope with, I'm going to fill in my gaps where I have gaps. And then we'll be ready for after that. Okay, so while I'm doing this curb, it's while I'm doing this pre-slope, first, you can see I just found a scrap piece of drywall, squeezed it in here. That way, whenever I start packing this thing, it doesn't come out on this end. So I'm just going to take my hands and just really pack this in between every one of these little gaps. If it falls out on where I'm doing my pre-slope, I haven't finished this side yet, so it won't be a big deal. So whenever I get to this side of the pre-slope, I start packing every little crevice here, or these 3 spots, and then I'll finish my pre-slope. Getting it in every crevice, making sure even the bottom is good and packed. We'll let that dry overnight. Okay, so continuing with the curb. There it is after setting up overnight. Just the bricks, all that stuff, like we did yesterday. And then now you put some liner over it. So you cut it. You can watch my other video how to do panel liner if you want. You cut it where it fits over this curb, and then you're going to cover it with some like steel lath or wire mesh. Okay. So here's this steel lath I'm talking about. Whenever you measure the curb, you measure how wide it is. Then you also measure from this side, top side, front side. So that ended up being probably like 11 inches. I'll cut off about 10 and a half. And then it's 27 inches wide, which is just about perfect. So just measure out what you want to cut. Go. Okay, so we got to cut. First thing, don't push it into cut. It's sharp. Don't let it cut your panel liner. Alright, so what you do is you just pull your pan liner tight. And I already folded this in. Push down, but don't cut, and then just literally take both of your hands, 2 hands, and push down, and it'll bend. And just form it right around this. And then you'll come over here, making sure your pan liner is nice and taut, and you will push down. And then I even take it off and make sure that I can try to bend it in just a little bit more. So it's nice and snug, but then whenever you put it back down, make sure you don't cut your panel liner. And that gives your curb some form. So then the last step with this will be to put some cement over it, and we'll do that. Our curb. Mortar mix. You don't want to use that sand topping mix because it's too much sand. Mortar mix, you don't need the whole bag, you just need a little bit of it. Maybe a third, I think, if that. Pour it in, let's get it going. So again, it's after the shower pan's done. And you want it mixed up pretty thick.
Have some fall over the edge and just push it up against that mesh.
Make sure you check the insides, get it nice and level. Straight. Get out your level. See how we're sitting? Sitting pretty.
There you go.
So if I look on the inside, I make this thing as deep, as far out towards the shower pan as my wall is. That way whenever I set my tile, it's all flush with the walls. So let's see if I can't get this wall here. See that red there? It's just flush with it. Okay, curb's done. There she lies. So there you can see that it's pretty straight and level all throughout there. Now all this is ready for tile. You don't have to put backer board or concrete board on it. It's ready to go. Just thin set and go.